Hey, it's the God Awful Gospel Hour. It is a Saturday, and it's a good day because the University of Texas just won. Beat Kansas. I was there. It was hot. And our guest is Anthony Knight.
God awful. God awful. God awful.
Ping, ping. Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Nothing much.
Yeah.
Just, another hot Saturday in Austin, Texas.
It's going to be 56 next Monday. I can get up and not die as soon as you walk out the door, which is nice.
It's crazy because I work, using my car all the time, and my AC broke in the, middle of summer.
Yeah.
And my phone would overheat 15, 20 minutes into starting the workday. So I'd have to freeze a gallon of water and sandwich my phone between the seat and the water just to make money.
I put a big gulp in my nuts to drive home, in between your legs.
Keep the nuts cool.
And then just keep the fan blowing on it, even with no cold air, and then put ice in my hat when I had no AC.
Oh,
The ice in the hat's a good one.
Yeah, that's a golf trick.
Yeah, right.
Might have to look into that. Well, if we're getting into the 50s, then maybe I'll save that for next time because I can't afford to get that shit fixed right now.
Yeah, right. So
Well,
you're from the DC area, right?
Yes, Maryland specifically, Montgomery County. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been here for 2 years, but last year I was on the road working a lot, so I really wasn't in Austin as much as I would have hoped.
Yeah.
Working comedy or working otherwise?
It was other work. I was able to do comedy while I was working. It was a
nice.
travel job.
Okay.
So I was able to get up in Kansas, Nebraska,
Okay.
Iowa. So maybe
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
saw you fucked a girl named Corn Pop or something like that.
street corn. Well, real
Well, that
story.
was Biden. Biden fucked a boy named Corn Pop.
But yeah, no, it was fun getting out there. The challenge it was hard to really work on new material because with work, it was all right, let me just go up with the 10, 15 minutes I have.
Yeah.
And then it started to get, for me, it just started to get old because it's like doing the same shit.
Yeah.
I try some new jokes here and there, but.
Well, you had stuff prepared at Woodrow's. I usually try to prepare, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah,
Four minutes.
yeah.
You can do something in a week,
Oh, yeah, now that I'm back in Austin, I'll go up with whatever. But, when I was on the road working, it was all right, let me just do stuff that prove to these people that I can make you laugh.
But there's people that go up at mics here that you can tell they didn't write nothing.
Yeah, ever.
All week.
Ever.
Yeah.
Their whole life.
Or you don't have something old or do something. I know there's only 2 people here, but
Make
write
the
something.
most of it, I know.
Get those reps in. That's the sayings that people are tired of in comedy. It's getting your reps in. You got to get your reps in, bro.
Gotta get the
That's
reps in.
that's very sneaker comedy, right?
So Anthony figured out the cheat code to coming on the show. He came up to us at a mic and said, "I like your Star Wars jokes," and I was like, "You're coming on the show right now. That's great.
Perfect. I will provide nothing, but I love Star Wars, so that's why I'm here.
Well, how old are you now?
I'm 34.
Okay, so did you ever wait in line for a Star Wars movie?
Not waiting lines, but I've done midnight releases.
Yeah.
But I would always go to theaters that weren't overly packed. I mean, they're still busy, but my tickets were pre-bought.
So episode 7, 8, 9, or did you go to 4?
I did. So the first Star Wars, they did the when George Lucas did the remakes.
Yeah,
of
the
the
special
original-
editions.
When they
Special
jumped the
editions.
shark. Donnie says that's when they jumped
So
the shark.
in my opinion, Star Wars died with CGI Jabba. As soon as that CGI Jabba came on the screen, that's the shark jumping moment for me. After all the years, because we've had so much since then, right?
Yeah.
But there
were
have
able
been some
to-
good spot. There have been some good points since then. Some neat things have happened since then. But
So if you could Eternal Sunshine your mind
Yeah.
to forget the sequels, 7, 8, 9, do you think you could enjoy some of this shit on Disney Plus maybe more now if you could pretend those things never happened?
well,
I
it
mean,
would
you
be
like
the same.
Andor.
It'd be Andor,
Yeah.
the first season of The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
and as far as the Clone Wars cartoon goes, I don't agree with the idea of Anakin having an apprentice or a Padawan. I just don't like that idea.
Because was he still being trained by Obi-Wan at that
Yeah,
time?
he was still being trained by Obi-Wan, and of course it's after the prequel, so they have to try and make all this fit in between episodes 2 and 3.
He kept trying to jump ahead though. He wanted to be a master before he was a knight and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So he took an apprentice.
But I kind of have fundamental disagreements with what happens in the prequels too. So there's some really cool stuff in there, like some cool ideas and all that, but the execution just, George Lucas really lost something. And same thing happened with Steven Spielberg. After about Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg started making putting a lot of dumb stuff in his movies. And I think it was kind of the same with Lucas after the original trilogy.
Yeah, you
He
want it
didn't
to
do
be
much after
intelligent, and I'm a basic bitch. I want to see some
No, I just-
explosions.
I don't want it to be intelligent.
lightsaber
I just want it to
battles.
be good.
Yeah,
I just want it to be good.
yeah.
You think when directors get to that certain point, they got a lot of people they're trying to please,
Or a lot of people that are saying, no, that's dumb, don't do that, and they can't. Or a lot of people who don't say that, so they surround themselves with people who are like, everything you do is amazing and perfect. That's what kind of the reason why the first two movies were so good, is because he had people telling him, no, we can't do that, we can't afford it, that's a dumb line, we should do this instead, and all that. And he was miserable having to have people tell him that. And then after the second movie, he was like, I control everything, and that's how you get, the Return of the Jedi, which is still, it's still a 70% an awesome movie. But
I think Lucas had an ulterior motive. He was trying to warn everybody about totalitarianism. That's why the whole Empire story is.
yeah,
And then I have another theory that he was trying to warn everybody about stem cells and adrenochrome in episode 1, because there's a little boy with these cells that was obsessed with living forever, and they were like, "You're the special boy, and we're gonna get these test you for all these little chemicals that are special."
yeah.
I think Lucas had his finger on the pulse
Lucas
of
is like,
the future,
at this point, Lucas is like, I'm a billionaire. I know about the island. I know about.
and he called school shooter before everything. And
Well,
he
that-
called
there-
the
Sand
school
people,
shooter.
yeah.
Well, I think he took that. From real life, because at
Sandy
that point
Hoth.
we had
We
some
call
of
it
those.
Sandy Hoth.
Yeah, Sandy.
So now, do you think George had a dream of the future, or do you think he had some inside
I mean, he's like
information?
David Bowie. He's a star man. He's from another dimension. But yeah, all the school shooters and the way those people turn out and the incel thing, that's what happened to Jake Lloyd too. Now he's all fucked up.
He is
Have you
fucked
seen-
up. Yeah,
he's on all
really
meth
fucked up.
scars
Yeah,
and stuff.
turn to the dark side
It,
for
it
real.
doesn't work being a child star. It
You
never
said you'd
works
been
out.
getting into some of the EU stuff, right?
Yeah, so I'm right now. I've read some of the books a long time ago when I was a kid, but now that Audible's a thing,
Yeah.
I'm in the Thrawn series.
Yeah, the Heir to the Empire and all that. Those were, I got into those. I read those. As
Does he have his pet shoulder lizard in the books?
Yeah, the Islamari,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
listen to you now.
Yeah,
You know all the words.
those
yeah.
are the ones that can block out the Force.
Yeah, they like make
Yeah.
a bubble of no force around themselves.
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Debuff.
Yeah, that's what it is.
He's
That's what
got
it is.
a modifier. He rolls for initiative.
Yeah.
Do you like how they're doing Thrawn now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the intro was awesome. Classic.
intro was
I mean,
really
that
nice.
last episode was a Star Wars movie. It had a huge villain
Yeah.
intro.
Mm-hmm.
It had tiny little cute people.
Mm-hmm.
It had Lost in a Stranger in a Strange World element. It had all the, in 45 minutes they packed it full of
It was really good.
hot fudge.
I just don't like how Disney does their series. The episodes are short.
Yeah.
They release them once a week, and just feel like, I guess it's good. They want us wanting more,
Yeah.
but they could give us more and still want more.
What's his face from Andor was saying he had felt trapped in the, not David Goyer, I can't remember his name, David something. He felt trapped in the 128 page prison of writing a 2-hour movie or a half-hour show and breaks for commercials. So now that we have streaming, a lot of the Ahsoka episodes are like 45 minutes or 35 minutes, and it's just dictated by the length of the tale that's being woven.
Yeah.
So it seems the writing can evolve more without having to worry about, it has to fit in a slot for NBC between Dateline, and
Yeah, to pay the bills,
Yeah.
for the advertisements and
they
shit.
just let them do whatever.
What do you think is the worst Star Wars thing? What's your least favorite Star Wars thing?
7, 8, 9.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely 7, 8, 9. I went and saw them, when they were released, just because it's my duty as a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
But
Obligatory.
yeah, I mean, just they could have brought the old, done so much more with Harrison, Mark Hamill.
I can't believe they didn't have the three of them on screen together in that first
Exactly.
one. That is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Come on now.
That's J.J. Abrams, though. He's such a jerk off.
Yeah.
He just fills it with screen flares. And
So-
doesn't do what he's supposed to do.
So, and when The Last Jedi came out, I saw it that first showing at the iPick, which is kind of like Alamo Draft House. It's like you got a big couch with pillows, and
Nice, yeah.
they bring you food and drinks.
Mhm.
And it was a work thing. And the movie got out, and walking out, everybody was just quiet and depressed. And the people working at the theater were waiting for us to come out so they could clean the theater, and they were like, what? Didn't you guys like it? Nobody looks happy. And I walked out there. I was like, that was wrong. That was incorrect. That was incorrect Star Wars.
F.
Yeah.
It brought down the Force Awakens. Like the Force Awakens wasn't bad,
If
but
the next one had been amazing, then
Yeah.
The Force Awakens, everyone, oh yeah, they set it all up, and then it went to there. But it just,
That's what I was hoping for with 1, 2, and 3 in 1999. We
Yeah.
waited at the theater for tickets. We waited at the theater for the showing. The 1 sucked. 2 sucked worse. Revenge of the Sith, I was like, maybe this will redeem everything. I just want to see the battle between Obi-Wan and then the Clone Wars cartoon came out, and Obi-Wan's groomer voice with Anakin got worse. Like they're buddies and like
Anakin.
wink, wink, nod,
Yeah.
nod. But on the cartoon, he was like, "Listen, little boy, you're doing bad things."
that's hilarious. I saw one of that. I was checking out y'all's page, and there was like a voiceover with Obi-Wan talking to Luke.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you guys create that where he was talking about Ahsoka and how they would like gangbang Ahsoka?
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's a 4chan meme, I think.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's,
Okay.
Is that on our page?
Wait, did it get posted somewhere?
I don't know.
I was just
Here,
going
I
through a
have it.
couple different clips.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
no, that shit was funny.
Yeah, because it started. So that was a meme that came from. It's like, did I ever tell you about your father? But it's, did I ever tell you about? And then it talked about like how ridiculous the prequels were, and that's where it got started. And then it always ended with, and he was a good friend.
Yeah. Yes.
But then now this more recent one is, did I ever tell you about Ahsoka? And it's like she was so hot, she's barely legal.
In certain systems and for a more civilized age. It was good just taking the original dialogue and
Yeah.
working it in.
Did you play Cal Kestis, the new Jedi
No.
Outcast? What was it called?
Jedi Survivor and
And then before that, it was
Jedi.
one of our first shows. We were streaming the first
Fallen
Cal
Order.
Kestis Fallen Order game.
Oh, Fallen Order. I did play. There's 2 Fallen Orders, right?
Yeah, there's
Okay.
Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor.
Okay.
Those are actually pretty good games.
Those
I
were
think.
good.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's a retarded ginger. We tried doing like photo mode stuff on him.
He
And
was
zooming on,
like,
every time you zoom on his face when he's swinging the lightsaber, he's like, one of his eyes isn't
little
pointing the
smaller,
same
yeah.
way. And we were doing this skit about how his parents found him and asked his parents if they could take him and train him. And they're like, the boy is special. And his parents are like, we know.
Yeah.
He's coloring on the walls.
Yeah.
Probably had
He must
extra-
be trained. Well, he's got to be potty trained first.
A Jedi must never know fear or love.
He can slow time. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's slow. He's been slow.
Probably got stronger force abilities though.
Yeah.
Retard strength.
Exactly.
Like an
yes.
orangutan.
Yeah.
It's retard force. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, I name of the episode, retard force.
Retard force.
So did you play any of the games from before, like prequel era games, the games since then, KOTOR, any of those?
Yeah. KOTOR.
Yeah.
Played both of those. I didn't play the one on the PC just
Right.
because I couldn't afford that shit. Or my at the time we no money. But KOTOR 1 and 2 were still probably my favorites. I hope they bring something. I know they're doing an open world that they're bringing back here soon.
Outlaws.
Outlaws, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll check that out. Jedi Outcast. You guys remember?
Everybody says that Jedi Outcast is like top tier.
Yeah, it was almost like a Golden Eye. You could play
It was
like
a first
that,
person shooter.
first-person
Was
shooter.
that were you weren't Kyle Katarn in that one, were you?
Now you were two. I think you were 2 characters. I believe you were some chick and maybe you were Qatar.
Because he was
They had a smuggler. They had a swashbuckling.
Yeah.
I think Kyle Katarn was Dark Forces, and then Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight or whatever.
Wasn't the Han Solo guy had like huge gay shoulder pad things?
That's
on
the guy from Shadows of the Empire. Did you ever play that?
On the 64.
Yeah,
on Nintendo
Yeah,
64.
I remember that one. Yeah. That one
I
was-
had that.
Okay.
It had some pretty cool levels in it, but it was that kind of clunky Nintendo 64 third-person platformer a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that whole Shadows of the Empire thing was like this weird, like it was like an expanded universe, like marketing onslaught to fill the void while we were waiting that 2 years for
One.
for the re-releases and for episode 1,
Yeah.
because that was about the time whenever Lucas announced, I'm working. There's going to be 3 more Star Wars movies, and we're going to re-release the old ones and all that.
So if Darth Maul got his bottom half cut off and he built new legs, did he build new everything down there?
I mean, shit. There's
Yeah.
so much pussy in the galaxy. I hope so.
You have
Yeah.
constructed a new lightsaber. Impressive. Is it horny like his head? He's got little spikies coming off of it, like a cat. It's got a swirl.
He gets
I
a
remember-
DIY it, create your own.
I see. I'm older than everyone here. I remember the TV commercials for Return of the Jedi being pumped. We watched it in Ocean City with some other. We were on like a double vacation with families.
New Jersey, Ocean City, or Maryland?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
there was a commercial that said, "Return to all your friends, the feisty Princess Leia," and that was back before they have a female lead in a sci-fi like Ripley and Aliens. They didn't make a huge deal out of it. It wasn't Jennifer J. Law going, "I'm the only ever action.
I'm the
female."
first action star. Yeah.
It was just like, this is a good actress. Everything's fine. We're making a movie. We're not gonna. Nobody has to.
This is what it is.
Halle Berry on stage and
Yeah.
start crying that this is for everybody.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with Last Jedi is that a lot of the criticism somehow got all conflated together to where you're sexist if you think it's kind of ridiculous that Rey never struggles and she just wins all the time. But the first woman you ever see in Star Wars pulls out a blaster and starts trying to shoot the people who are trying to take her capture.
Yeah.
And then whenever they go and try and rescue her, she tells them what idiots they are, and she takes charge and helps them get out of there. So they were already doing that stuff from the beginning. You can't say that Star Wars fans are like, oh, misogynistic, whenever Princess Leia exists from the very beginning.
She tells Grand Moff Tarkin he's got old balls and they smelled you.
Yeah, I thought I smelled you holding Vader's leash. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just poor development and lazy development in writing with the new stuff. I mean, like you said, Leia, they did her well, and how she progressed. She struggled. I mean, everyone she knew and loved died. in the first fucking
She had
40.
to watch her whole planet blow
Yeah.
up,
But that is a creepy adjective to use for a strong-willed woman. She's feisty. I was trying to hold her down, and she kept trying to get away. What a feisty girl! I like that.
They like to wiggle out from under you. Yeah.
So that was the first, one of the first female leads, and then Star Wars had the first gay character, 3PO, and nobody ever said anything about that. Everything that happens, he's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got representation there. And then we had the first Asian character. He was flying the A-Wang, or the A-Wong. ship.
Wait, and in the originals.
In Return of the Jedi, I think did the Asian A-wing guy bring down the Executor
I think
because he crashed
He's
into
the
the
one that
bridge of the
crashed
Super
into
Star
it,
Destroyer because he
yeah.
goes, "Ah!"
so. That's
and then-
racist. He did a thing.
Yeah, whoa!
He did the flying
Coming to
ship.
attack our ship.
He kamikaze. Wait, no, maybe that actually is racist. Having the
Kamikaze.
Asian guy kamikaze
Yeah,
the
that's
Star
fucked up,
Destroyer.
Lucas. They should have Robin Williams yelling at him about that. There's a bunch of interviews with Robin Williams and George Lucas where he's fucking with him about the accents, and
Oh,
it's
nice.
really good. It's only audio, but they're on YouTube.
I'll
and
have to
he's
check those
making
out.
fun of him about Jar Jar being Jamaican, and
Yeah.
George is like, "Well, we didn't mean to have it, be of any country. It's just."
Or the Trade Federation
Yeah.
being with their Asian.
Do you
accents.
think she suspected an
Yeah.
attack? Yeah.
Lucas's excuse was that these are alien races, but we only have Earth accents to pull from. So our reference material, our context is from what we have here.
Yeah.
You're not going to make up an alien accent.
Yeah. How do you do that?
Nobody would understand
Yeah.
any of it.
Just the line with the accent. Mind tricks don't work on me. Only money. Just to have somebody say that in that accent, that's a little on the
And he
nose.
had a
right?
huge, speaking of on the nose, he had a
Yeah,
huge
yeah,
nose.
yeah.
Huge hanging down nose.
Right.
He said slaves. That was too
Right.
much. We were watching the Ahsoka thing. Donnie doesn't watch it, but he reads about it. And he was like, did some lady get run through and survive? And I was like, yeah, but she's an alien, so you don't know where her guts are. There's no humans. So there's no
Yeah.
girl power or boy power. Genitalia has never been addressed in this universe.
Right.
That's true.
But yeah, they stabbed at Sabine,
Sabine, yeah.
and she was fine.
Look, the fifth time that's happened.
Yeah, I would say everyone survived. Only Qui-Gon's the
Well,
only
yeah.
one.
And it makes Qui-Gon look like a bitch.
Well,
Yeah.
he's from the planet where one of your vital organs is located, right where
Yeah.
he got stabbed at.
Right,
There's
not
always an answer.
not Reva, not Sabine, not Kylo Ren. Like all of
Oh,
them
yeah.
get stabbed through the stomach, and they're fine.
But yeah, I was
Eventually.
reading about Ahsoka, and then I saw this headline that said Ahsoka has weak elbows on Reddit. I was like, what the fuck is this now? And I realized I was looking at the action figure subreddit. Somebody was complaining about the elbows on the figure. I was about to jump up and be like, how dare you to besmirch her weak elbows. Rosario Dawson's going to get mad. They just compiled all of the cross-sections books. Remember those? The incredible cross-sections where you
yeah.
can see all the pieces of the ships.
hmm
They're all in one now.
Oh, nice.
So you can see, where Lando sticks his dick in the Millennium Falcon because he installed his girlfriend into that shit.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
she-
droid. Yeah.
Which adds extra punch when you watch the 80s ones because he's like, she's an old girl.
Yeah.
She may not look like much. She's got it where it counts. Where's the
Yeah.
count? Where's the
Yeah.
where's
Where-
the place?
Show us this quarter of
Yeah.
the ship.
It's behind the capes in the closet.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is
This
a
is-
collection of cape. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
in
leave me
Lando's
alone.
bunk. Going back to like the complaints they have when people have real complaints about Star Wars. whenever they made the first one, that was actually like in the media. They were like, "Well, why is everybody white?" And the answer was because they filmed it in London and all the people were white. So Lucas was like, "All right, I'm going to bring the coolest guy in the galaxy in for the sequel." And guess who he's going to be? He's going to be Billy D. Williams. So they also had a really smooth talking cool guy who is like an administrator of a facility.
I mean,
Han Solo looked like a dork.
Right.
But he was administrator of a facility, but he was still behind on his bills. So they did a good job with that there.
This deal's getting worse all the time. So what would be your perfect Star Wars video game? There's been a lot of them. We've enjoyed a lot of them.
Something like Starfield right now is from what I've seen, best space game. If they could incorporate that where you in the Star Wars galaxy or in the Star Wars universe where you can pretty much go anywhere, kind of taking some of the Knights of the Old Republic where you every choice you make, you get a crew of followers. I mean, you don't got to be a Jedi, you can be a mercenary. Whatever the fuck.
Starfield shows that that's possible. I mean, as many planets as are in Starfield, that's about how many have been addressed in the Star Wars.
So it's like
you go to all kinds of different places. So I had some friends that played Star Wars Online. That was the first Star Wars MMO.
Okay.
And that
Before
one,
Knights of the Old
it was before the Old Republic. It was the first
Galaxy
one.
Online
Star
or
Wars
something?
Galaxies.
Oh.
You ever heard of that one?
I've heard it. I've never played it though.
It was like early to mid 2000s is whenever that one got started. And I had some friends that played quite a bit of that one.
I like Jedi Power Battles on Dreamcast. That was rad. That was the first one where you could deflect blaster bolts back if you hit the button at the right time.
Ooh, the Dreamcast. I think I've played that one before. My friend had the Dreamcast. And he had
Sega
that game.
Dreamcast.
Yeah.
I had to trade it for my PS2 when the PS2 came out. It broke my heart.
For sure. It's
I
tough.
had to upgrade. I missed that little thing that came out of the controller.
Oh yeah,
I used to take it with me to work and play Tamagotchi, Sonic, whatever the little Sonic thing was.
Yeah, so the Dreamcast, the day that came out was $99.99, and I went to GameStop, but to buy the other thing that came out that day, which was Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay, yeah.
So I will always remember that day because I could have bought a Dreamcast that day, and I didn't. And the Dreamcast didn't last very long. It was way ahead of its time.
It was.
So, but yeah, I bought that was the Final Fantasy VIII day was the same day as the Dreamcast.
We've had a couple Final Fantasy episodes because of all the hype.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's something I never got into. My one friend who's a big gamer, that was just like his shit, still is, and I don't know if it's too late for me to like
It's
get.
basically like the Star Wars of video games. It's the big franchise that everybody kind of.
Yeah.
What's is eight? Is eight that's their flagship, their best one?
No,
Seven was the
seven is the one they're most known. What's the one Cloud with the giant sword, the spiky blonde-haired guy, and Sephiroth, the guy with the big long sword with the gray hair. That's probably the most famous Final Fantasy. But again, that came out in 1997, so it's been going on forever. The most recent one was kind of like a Devil May Cry game. It's more of an action game.
Okay,
so it was pretty fun. Yeah,
that's on the next gens.
it's on like PS5, and eventually it's going to come to like PC and all that too.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did you play PS2 Revenge of the Sith? You could play together like co-op, couch co-op. It was like the Return of the Lord of the Rings games.
Oh yeah,
Remember
where it's
those?
like there's different, like it kind of guided you along the way.
They
like
had cutscenes that were from the movie.
Yeah.
And then it would fade into the polygons.
Yes, I did play that one. That was a good one. I enjoy the ones more that aren't like in the movies, like just the like expanded universe.
Yeah, the extra stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Donnie, you said you played the Sith all the way through just to see the bad ending because there was a.
Yeah, there's an ending where you can win the duel as Anakin, and then I can probably pull it up on a break, but you win it as Anakin, kill Obi-Wan, and the Emperor like shows up like very good, Darth Vader, and then he just strikes down the Emperor, and he's like, boom, I win.
Was it in polygons or did they film something?
We'll have to look it up, and let's go ahead and take a break because we are at that time. And we're back. So I made a mistake today. I got my hands on some incredibly powerful, like Delta 8, 9, 10, and another type of thing strain gummies.
69.
Oh shit. Okay.
Like they're like 250 megabytes. Now they're 250 milligrams each.
They basically made crack of weed now.
Yeah, it's insane.
You guys like the deltas?
I do.
Well, so Delta 9 is the same molecule that's in actual like buds and stuff. Delta 8 is the stuff that's kind of like it's a slightly different molecule and it's derived from they're all derived from hemp, but that was the first thing they were able to derive, and it's not as good. But now they're getting the same kind of stuff out, and they're getting even more powerful stuff
mixing
out.
it with CBD.
Mixing it with CBD. So
I like being able to go to the 7-Eleven and get high. That's
Yeah.
fucking rad.
yeah,
that's better than
it's
going to
not-
the dispensary. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you get your big gulp and.
I remember feeling that way with vaping when people had those volcanoes.
Uh huh.
I was like, I need the tactile of inhaling and blowing out a cloud,
Yeah.
so it didn't feel real. And then you would do too much, and it would kick in hard. You'd be like, "Fuck, I'm dead."
oh yeah.
But now, I don't really like smoking that much anymore. Anyway, I always end up hacking and on the
Yeah.
ground.
Oh
So
damn.
I like to eat a gummy and be like, it's like taking shrooms. You're like, all right, I've got 15 for 20 minutes, and then something weird is gonna happen, and
Yeah.
I notice it. It's
Yeah.
usually like you go down a train of thought, and then you go, how the fuck did I get here? And then you go, oh yeah, I'm high.
Kicked it. That's when you know, yeah.
Yeah.
When you're
You
like
try to trace it
chapter 3 of the
back.
thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I did is I took 2 tiny little cuts off of that insane gummy, and like 2 little pieces, and got in my car and drove up to the campus, parked, went into the football game,
Mhm.
and it hit me right as the first quarter was getting started with
Wow.
the 95-degree sun pounding down on my face in a crowd.
100,000 people.
Yeah, with 100,000 people screaming. And I was like, why did I do that? And so I just had to kind of stand there and take it for an entire quarter until I kind of started mellowing out and coming down off that first little peak. But it was hot out there today. It was.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like a couple weeks ago there was like a 103-degree game. I can't imagine going out there and standing out there in that,
Yeah, today was. I think it's supposed to be. Well, no, tomorrow's gonna suck. Like Josh was saying. Hopefully
Later
it's
this
gonna-
week we got
yeah,
some stuff blowing through.
got some rain.
They, what theater did you go see Star Wars at in Woodbridge? Or where did you say, Montgomery County?
Montgomery County. Yeah. So we had a. It was it was a Lowe's, but then there was something else that they maybe
Remember the song?
Regal.
Remember the Lowe's song? Thank you for coming to Lowe's.
Yeah, there was that.
Enjoy the show.
Which one was that? That was
It was Lowe's.
That was Lowe's. Okay, yeah. So
we
it
had
was
one in
Lowe's,
Virginia.
and then
What was your closest metro station near y'all?
the Red Line, Shady Grove.
That's where my dad and I went to a Redskins game. He got
Uh-huh.
tickets.
Uh-huh.
We got on the metro. I think I was like 10 or 11, and he was like, "Wake me up when we get to RFK. We're coming from Vienna." And we switched to Metro Center, got on the red line to go to RFK, and he was like, "I'm gonna take a nap. Wake me up." But his breathing was in sync with it's my dad. So genetically, being next to him, like shoulder to shoulder, him sleeping, I
You fell
passed the
asleep.
fuck out. We both woke up. Red line, Shady Grove.
Last
End of the line.
Yep,
Get off.
Yep.
We were like, fuck, we missed the
Yeah.
whole game.
Yeah, now you can't even take the damn because the stadium is in PG and there's
Yeah.
no metro access. Going to the games are dreadful. Just a little side note on,
We used to have Lollapalooza at Fairfax, and then they moved it out to West Virginia.
Oh
The
yeah,
Virginia Lollapalooza was way
in
out there.
Winchester. No, you said West Virginia. I lived in West Virginia for a few years.
Yeah, we used to have to go out there for bongs and porn and shit and like bachelor parties. All the titty bars were there.
Oh yeah, West Virginia. Yeah.
If you're going to, that's my favorite culture forms in a vacuum analogy. Like, people talk about different cultures and how they form and how danger comes from like, leaving certain groups alone. These fucking people in West Virginia shot at the trash men too much, so they quit coming. So trash piles up. They don't pay their fucking water bills. They live in a trailer. They're bathing in the river. That's their culture that they can be proud of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These dirtbags
Have you
that
ever
are inbred.
I'm gonna go take a shot in the creek.
Yeah, they go
Yeah.
swap spit behind the fire station. That's what there is to do on a Saturday.
have you ever seen the documentary The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
I did. That's some crazy shit.
Yeah. So a friend of ours, a friend of me and Josh's, was from Virginia, and I said, "Dude, I just saw this crazy documentary about these crazy like meth trashy family called the Wonderful Whites of West Virginia. Have you ever heard of this?" And he goes, "I went to high school with those people. I don't need to see anything about them for the entire rest of my life."
I sat next to him in math and cheated on them once. Failed out of high school.
That's why I didn't watch The Wire. I was like, I know Baltimore sucks. I don't need to watch
And-
Baltimore
yeah.
sucking on
You already,
HBO.
you already know. Baltimore is it's on the come up though.
Yeah.
I mean the O's are doing well as far as baseball. They
Yeah.
just renewed their lease
Yeah.
for another 30 years.
Yeah.
There's
We
some
used to
nice.
I was
ones.
surprised to see the Orioles doing so well this year.
Yeah, me too.
But there's been a lot of kind of shock teams that have been bad for years and years and years suddenly good this year. So
And yeah, in a lot of sports.
Yeah.
We used to run warehouse parties in Baltimore in high school.
Oh, at the warehouse.
This is pre-cell phone, so it took 6 periods of high school to coordinate who's driving, whose mom is going to lie and say we're sleeping over. DJ, drugs, backpack lights, space. We had to go there a week beforehand, scout it out, go midweek and see if anybody would leave like little traps and shit around to see if anybody touched it or gone in there.
Oh,
And then
shit.
you can confirm and come back on Thursday at school and go, we're good. And then everything was go for Friday.
That's some top level logistic work right
we
there.
thought we had it down, and then we
Yeah.
went to Philly and we got hustled by these dudes. They took everything from
It's a
us.
different game up there. Yeah.
Same in New York.
Yeah.
As soon as we turned 16 and could drive, we started going up and down the East Coast and
Yeah.
trying to run raves, and they were like, y'all don't run shit up here.
Yeah, nah.
You
we're
can
gonna take everything
you
you
can use
own.
our DJ, our lights, our drugs.
Wow.
You can come and pay at the door like everybody else. They're like, fuck, we gotta stay in Baltimore, I guess.
There's actually there's actually a Wire storyline that's kind of like that when Prop Joe and some of those guys try and go start selling up in New York, and
Yeah.
they get in trouble. They
That's
they
not
run
the
into
same
the people
game.
who are already have the territory up there. Yeah.
We
We
do
went-
things a little different up there.
We went to New York to the Roxy. We heard that was the club. Like Madonna was hanging
Uh-huh.
out there at the time. It was during her techno phase.
Nice.
And I bought some ecstasy from this guy back when it was called X. We called it E because we were like wannabe British cool guys.
Yeah.
Got in the A.
Yeah. So this guy put something in my pocket and he goes, "Here you go, pal," and pat my chest. And then we went and back to the hotel and it was powder. So we just snorted. It was, I think it was Ritalin. We got
yeah.
hustled.
Oh, I got hustled off of E as well
Yeah.
in Austin.
Yeah.
It ended up being meth. And
Oh.
it was tough.
I had that happen in DC. Somebody
Okay.
was like, "It's a real chill high." They weren't Mitsubishis back in the day. They were Mitsubishis. They had the like logo on them.
Uh-huh.
He was like, "It's a real chill high." So I took one with my girlfriend, and we had a great time. And then she was like, "You got to get more." And I called him. I was like, "Can we get some more?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's really H-y, huh?" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "There's heroin in those." And I was like, "I was hoping to be on my deathbed, having never done heroin.
Yeah. You know,
And you just fucked me, and now my girlfriend's hooked, so I have to get more of them."
done turned her into a junkie.
Yes, you gotta
Shit.
turn
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like the first 3-4 hours that I was on meth, I was kind of fucking with it, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But then the next 48 hours, I
calmed
was
down,
ready to
yeah.
die. Yeah, it was bad.
It's cool to feel productive. Same with Adderall and Coke,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Oh, I can see how this could ruin my entire life."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the come
There's
down,
not success stories.
not at all.
You
Yeah.
never hear about somebody afterwards going, "Everything is great."
Yeah, it all started with Adderall and meth.
Yeah. So, what was your favorite restaurant growing up that's not there anymore? Have you been back home and been like, "What the hell happened to my spot?"
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of restaurants that shut down. This one's going to sound very generic because there's still Pizza Huts around
Yeah.
and whatnot, but there was one like walking distance from my house. We would go in there and get free food all the time.
Yeah.
And then as the area around started to develop, they said, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But, you know, there was a restaurant I worked at. It was called Nantucket's Reef.
Uh-huh.
It was like a New England seafood type restaurant.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Fucking clam chowder was like real clam in there.
Yeah.
They had these lobster rolls. You can get them either with the mayonnaise or the warm with the butter. Amazing. The
So
crab
I've-
cakes.
Tried every clam chowder in Austin to try to find fucking clam chowder here.
Is there any that? No.
The Eat at Joe's had it, but it's Cidercade now.
Oh, okay.
Garbo's had it.
Uh huh.
Then in the bread bowl, that place is gone. There's the oyster place on West 6th, the fancy West 6th, like
Yeah.
west of Lamar.
Yeah.
I can't remember that place.
Way west. Yeah.
With Zitejas and all that stuff
Yeah.
over there. That place has a really good clam chowder.
Okay.
But not, I mean, it's member berries. Like, it's never going to be as good. as
Seafood
it
out here isn't. I mean, it's just not.
No.
You're not going to get.
It's
any-
got to be flown in and all that.
Exactly,
Yeah.
When my first summer here, it was 111 in 2004. And I was working at a sign shop. I had to put all the stripes on the Time Warner vans.
Mhm.
All these old dudes. It was at Hannah Chevrolet in Round Rock.
Okay.
All these old fat dudes kept coming out going, "Oh, you want some lemonade? Is it hot enough for you?" I was fucking dying. I shouldn't have smoked weed. But I was like, it can't be this hot without a beach somewhere. Like from the East Coast,
exactly.
you go on
When you get that
vacation
heat,
in the
yeah.
summer with your parents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
When it's that hot, you should be
There's
able to
ocean.
smell salt water.
And hear seagulls and see them shit on you, and yeah.
But there was a thing they did on KUT 98.9 here every Sunday morning. They play reggae. So when it was hot and I didn't have AC, I was like, every Sunday morning I'd smoke and drive around and listen to reggae
There you go.
before it gets too hot.
Reggae's fun. So back home, there's this reggae wine fest, and I'm not a big wine drinker, but they have live music, all these fucking amazing food trucks, and when it's 90 plus degrees out, there's no better place to be.
You put wine on
unless-
ice?
Wine on ice. I get it. I put it in a cooler with ice. I don't ever put it. I don't think I've ever had. I've had it on ice like sangrias and shit, but
Yeah.
I've never had like just straight up wine on ice.
I make ghetto sangria. I
Oh.
mix Fanta,
Uh-huh.
orange Fanta with red wine on
Orange-
ice.
Oh
We
damn.
used to drink that at the dog tracks in Virginia in the middle when it was
That
hot.
sounds like a dog track.
Yeah.
Something you would think of
Box
the
of
dog track.
wine, a
Yep,
cooler
box.
full of Fanta,
Hell yeah.
kegger cups and ice, and everybody's lining up. Can I get another one of those ghetto sangria?
Have you ever had Mama Juana? Have you heard of that? It's a Dominican drink, but it's red wine, rum, honey, and a bunch of like natural herbs
That
from
sounds good.
and they soak it for like a couple weeks. It's almost like you're drinking marijuana. Like the effects you feel, it's
Yeah.
not a drunk feel, but a real chill, like you're high. Best shit ever.
They don't have
Yeah.
that around here anywhere.
No, you can like order the fucking herbs and mix your own shit, which
Okay.
I've done, but it's not the same. I mean, when you're in the DR and it's
Mama
fucking
Juana. Have you been
bomb.
down there?
I did I was on a cruise and I went out there.
Okay.
And then a group of friends, I was supposed to go with them, but I decided not to go because I was with my girlfriend at the time, and my insecurity, I was like, I'm gonna go. She's gonna fucking cheat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna stay here.
It's
and
gonna be an
fucking-
exotic man.
Yeah. Yeah, so I missed out on a good time, but DR is fun though.
Yeah,
It
I
was
went
a good
down
time.
there with church when I was little on a missions trip.
Oh,
I got to play saxophone and translate testimonies and stuff. I speak Spanish.
Yeah, we were both grew up pretty evangelical,
Yeah.
but he went to Liberty University, so he was real evangelical.
yeah.
Yeah, growing up.
y'all
No.
grew up together.
Nah.
No, I'm from West Texas,
Okay.
but we were like hardcore Southern Baptist and all that. So Josh and I, when we met, 12, 13 years ago now, I was like, you went to Liberty? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, well, we got to talk about like the Bible and shit. So,
That's why it's the god awful gospel hour.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's making sense now. It's starting to make sense to me.
It's awful. The theme song is by my buddy from church.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Were you on the sack? Did you have any influence on the song, or was it just all him?
I texted him. He's in a band in Boston,
Okay.
but he came here for South by, and then I knew he was in the studio. They're polishing up their album, and I was like, "Do you think you guys could throw together like a 20-second bumper?
Nice.
You know, just a little bluesy thing?" And he was like, "Sure." Like what? And I was like, "Whatever you want." I mean, all I said was bluesy. That's it.
And-
And they
He
sent
said God
some-
awful in it. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty much what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, they sent it 20 minutes later. It was fresh.
Shit.
I was like, "Okay, cool. We have a theme song now."
Yeah.
That's
We,
a good friend. Anytime I ask a friend for help,
Well,
usually
he
wait for-
comes here for South by and mails himself Coke from DC to my children's house.
Oh
And
shit.
he owes me.
Yeah. Oh, for a 20-second song at the
Yeah.
very least. You know, little,
Yeah.
little jingle.
I was your receptionist for your package. Yeah.
Yeah. So my favorite restaurant growing up in Virginia was at Fair Oaks Mall. Did you ever go to Fair Oaks Mall?
Mm-hmm.
There was an Italian delight there. It was a pizza restaurant. They got pushed out by Sbarro whenever Sbarro came, but it was stereotypical. There's an old Italian asshole in there. When you see you
Yeah.
walk in, he's like, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
It's dark. There's meat hanging from the ceiling.
That's when you know it's gonna be
All the
a good time.
furniture's like red and green
Yeah.
button leather.
Yeah.
But man, that was the best pizza I've ever had in my life. If I go back again, it probably won't be as good. But
Oh, speaking of pizza, just because it threw like there was a place in Rockville, Maryland called Paisanos.
yeah,
Pizza like it wasn't overly sauced because I don't like too much of a saucy pizza.
Mhm.
yeah.
And the wings that they had, like it was a buffalo sauce. I don't know if they put like I don't know if it's ketchup, but it was something that gave like a hint of sweetness. And that shit was every Friday night I would go there with my grandparents. That was kind of like our thing. And then the owner was a family owned spot, you know, rude Italian. I mean, he was more like a happy grandpappy type of guy,
Yeah.
but his like nephews and grandchildren, they were the dickheads.
If
So
they're,
it was
if they're
perfect.
dicks, you know the food's good because you'll be
Exactly.
back. They don't
Yeah.
even need to do customer service. They're like, "Fuck
Yeah.
you, we'll see you tomorrow."
Exactly. They know they can put it all on the food. Like they're betting it all on the food.
You'll be back.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
When's the last time you lived over there?
I moved here in March of 21, so
Okay.
yeah, a couple years now. I've been back several times, but I haven't been back in. It's been about a year now since
They
I've
still
been-
have Baja Fresh up there.
They do.
They had them here when I moved here.
Okay.
There's two of them. They're gone now. There was one on campus and there was
Okay.
one over here.
I do like some Baja Fresh.
They
Yeah.
had a guy at Fair. So the first apartment we got was at Fair Lakes, where the tower was, in Fair Oaks Mall.
Mhm.
That was the first apartment we got because we grew up begging our parents to take us to tower all the time. So once we were grown, we were like, "I'm gonna fucking get in a house right by a tower
Yeah.
and go
Walk
to
the
tower,
tower every
whenever I
day."
want." Yeah.
Yeah.
But they had a Baja Fresh there, and you know how they call out your number?
Yeah.
Like, so they had this gay Hispanic guy with like a tight ponytail, and he would call out the numbers, and we were waiting. and he called her. My number was 66, and he goes, "Orden 66, Orden," and I didn't go up because I just wanted to hear him say it over and over again.
Just sitting there, your food's getting cold.
And we started coming up with a bit about like if the Hispanics could activate the same way the clones did. If they had a communication system, they could do Orden 66 and take America back real quick.
That's
if they're all on the same wavelength.
Definitely, at least Texas. They could definitely take Texas.
They need that dude to do the order.
It's like his hologram. Yeah, everyone's got a hologram of him going. He's got a robe on.
Strike them down. Matalos. Without mercy.
So we do this thing with every guest. Let me get your birthday minus 9 months.
Okay, so that would be February.
February what year?
Well, my birthday's October 88, but if we're minusing 9 months, that would be February
87.
Oh,
February.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was born in 88 of October,
Okay.
So
that'd be February.
of '88. Yeah.
Okay, 1988. So this is the song your parents were banging to.
On Valentine's Day, most likely.
Hot 100. Billboard 19 February 1988. Father figure. Ooh, creepy. That's all I wanted. Pet Shop Boys. What have I done to deserve this? Patrick Swayze. Never gonna give you up.
Damn, that was a good year.
shit.
Wait,
Hungry
was
Eyes.
It was Hungry Eyes from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
That was around the time Dirty Dancing soundtrack was big. all my mom and my aunts all had it, and I was like 6 years old. I listened to it all the time.
What was Madonna shit during the time? I know my mom was really big into Madonna.
It might have
Shit.
been, it wasn't quite Vogue time yet. It was
88 was the island one, Isla Bonita.
Isla Bonita.
That was when she was trying to be Hispanic.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
damn,
might be. Yeah.
So after Ahsoka's over, we got Loki coming up. Did you watch any Loki? Did you get any of those Marvel ones?
Yes, I finished. I think I finished Loki. I might have an episode or two left. The Marvel Universe, like I'm into it, but it's not like with Star Wars. So I'm still trying. Like I watched WandaVision, finished that. That was good. How did Loki? I know I'm gonna have to go back and watch it because I know like
He's just trapped in time and getting pulled through different dimensions.
yeah.
And shit.
Okay, I did finish Loki. It was actually good. What I did not particularly like with Marvel was the Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yeah.
So you didn't like that one?
I still haven't finished. I like watched it in like 2 or
Yeah,
3
it was too.
seconds.
So
Sad.
you watched the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, right?
Yeah.
So the first Pirates of the Caribbean was great. It was tight and all that. Well, the second one, especially the third one, just got too big and bloated and long, and too
Yeah.
much crap happening all at once and
Yeah.
told in a certain way. I kind of felt that about Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Okay.
It was too. They tried to do too much with it.
Yeah.
It could have been a simpler story. I felt kind of the same way about those. But with the Marvel movies, I mean, pretty much once Endgame was done, I'm like, dude, you told a whole story. I don't really need movies. Spider-Man's after that have been good. But I'm just not really interested in, like, I saw the Doctor Strange one, and I was like, well, when there's alternate universes, nothing means anything because you just go to another universe and it undoes anything that you did before and all that. So
There's 3 Deus Ex Machinas that make story not matter anymore: shape-shifting,
Yeah.
resurrection, or time travel.
Yeah.
And they put all 3 in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
So it's like, who the fuck even cares?
Yeah.
It's Mystique, but she's not even dead, and she comes back, and she's
Yeah.
back in time.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you write a story, and it doesn't matter because they can undo
None of
everything.
it matters exactly.
and that's really what comic books have been like for a long time because they'll like reboot everything and then
Yeah.
they'll be like, oh,
Earth 2. DC did Earth 2.
Wolverine died, but
Let's
only in
try
that
again.
universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I really do like those Spider-Verse movies. Have you watched any of those?
I didn't watch the most recent one.
I
Which
watched
is
the
one
most recent one. I thought the first one had awesome animation, and they were doing really cool stuff I'd never seen in an animated movie before. But this second one, man, they went even further. There is even crazier animation and cooler looking stuff.
Oh shit.
I mean, it's definitely one to see under the influence of some stuff because it is
sure.
bright and colorful. It's so awesome.
That's how I felt with Doctor Strange. I know you were talking like I liked the Doctor Strange movie with the animation.
So they can
and-
make
Yeah.
a whole movie of that paint dimension.
Yeah.
Eat a delta.
yeah,
and you go.
yeah. That might be a shroom movie strictly for shrooms.
We used to do that for every Pixar movie that came out. There was a theater next to that tower that we moved
Yeah.
next to.
Uh-huh.
Dinosaurs. Every CG movie came out. We're like, would somebody get shrooms?
Nice.
We gotta get ready. And now I got Disney Plus, and my kids want to watch Pixar, and I'm like, this is boring. I already saw this in 4 dimensions.
Yeah.
when it came out.
It was better. It was better on Shrooms Kids. Yeah. All right, we're gonna take one more break, and then we'll be right back.
So after Loki ends, Ahsoka's over Loki, and then Skeleton Crew apparently is going to start. Have you heard about the
I
Jude
did.
Law? Jude Law has a show where he's lost in space with some Padawans. There's a trailer.
Oh, this is the Star. Yeah, okay.
It's the next show after
Yeah.
Ahsoka.
Skeleton Key. It's called?
Skeleton Crew.
Crew. Oh, okay.
There was a trailer at Celebration London last year. So I think it looks like they're moving the whole thing into the other universe,
Yeah, that's what it. Yeah.
which is another reboot Earth 2 type of nobody
Yeah.
wants to see Tatooine and Coruscant anymore.
Yeah.
So cool, new planets, new beasts, new ships, new everything.
But you feel
Hopefully.
like they couldn't. Do you feel like they're tapped out of this current universe?
No, I mean people were getting sick of certain things, but it was
Yeah.
more the writing, and
For sure.
it was Kathleen Kennedy.
That's the problem. That's another problem that I have with any of this TV stuff is that it all ends up in the, Empire coming back, Luke Skywalker throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder,
Yeah, it's
the
incredible.
the fart of Palpatine, just
Oh,
bringing
so
back
good.
Palpatine, like
it's poetry.
out of
Right.
somehow he
Yeah.
returned.
They
That's
could've done
where it all
Snoke
ends up,
so
right?
I thought, like, after watching Last Jedi, I thought the whole Snoke thing was going to be completely different than how it
Yeah.
ended up being, which pissed me off because
Yeah.
my theories in my head were fucking way better.
It's a lack of intelligence. Oh, I guess we're going to do the same thing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard of Red Letter Media?
Red Letter? Nah.
Okay, so they're these YouTubers up in Wisconsin,
I
and
tagged them in the clips today.
nice.
For who the fuck do you think you are? We need your thoughts.
Yeah.
You are my thoughts.
So about probably around the time that we were first doing mics, in like 2009, 2010 maybe, they put out this 3-hour long review of the Phantom Menace, by a
Longer
character.
than the movie.
Yeah,
I
by
know,
a
right?
character named Mr. Plinkett, and it basically just broke down everything that was wrong with the writing of the movie. And they did, and then like people in Hollywood started sharing it on Twitter, like Patton Oswalt and all those guys started saying, "Oh my God, I've never seen somebody just figure out like why this was wrong
To
and
a
all that
T, yeah.
to a T." And they've kind of become, for a lot of people, I mean, for me, they're like my Siskel and Ebert. They have a show called Half in the Bag.
Okay.
They have the perfect. It's like a little 30-second long clip that completely explains The Last Jedi. It's just a goofy little thing. I'll show it to you when we're done. But it's called The Wine Tasting.
Okay.
And that's exactly what the whole throwing the lightsaber over the shoulder, over the whole, haha, you thought Snoke was somebody important. We're just going to kill him. Haha, that kind of
Yeah.
little shit-eating grin kind of, I subverted your expectations, that Ryan Johnson did with that movie.
I was excited when they brought Kathleen Kennedy into the story group because she was an executive producer on Goonies and Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I was
And
like, fuck
shit
yeah,
with
but
that,
she
yeah.
just ended up doing this virtue signaling thing they do in the writer's room where they try to include unnecessary. There weren't any women begging to please be represented in sci-fi.
No, yeah.
There wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Nobody asked for that. The
Mhm.
Redskins, there were no natives that asked them to change that name. They would have done it a long time ago. They
Yeah.
just all of a sudden now during all this stuff, they were like, we're going to do something nice.
Well, it's
Right.
because they let everybody on the internet, and so now a lot of people can make a lot of tweets about this is offensive, and they like, well, maybe it is, and so they think that that's who they have to listen to all the time.
Well, that's why I think the world's going to end, because I think there's a playbook on how to run a society that lasts for about 2,000 years. And the reason it blows up is because the power of individual thought. When
Yeah.
people get to say and express and have these feelings of doing whatever the fuck they want, that's when shit crumbles.
It's
And
the Tower
we
of
see-
Babel.
Huh?
The Tower of Babel is in the Bible.
Yeah.
They built a tower to try to reach God
Mhm.
because everyone spoke the same language. And then God was like, fuck that, and scattered everybody out throughout the universe and changed their languages.
Yeah, now you can't communicate with each other, right?
Yeah. And
You
they
start
said if
fighting,
it ever
yeah.
happens again, the world's going to end, and now it's the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
It's the
Tower of
same-
Babel.
Yeah, that's our new Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
AI is going to come out. Skynet's going to happen.
Mhm.
They're going to start making T1000s
So
and
we need
shit.
to figure out who we got. I got an EMP guy. I know
Yeah.
a guy that can make an EMP.
Make an
bomb.
EMP,
shit.
yeah, wipe them
We
all
need
out.
to all have one at the house.
Do the little
Yeah,
matrix
yeah.
with the.
but then
with-
you don't
with
get the
squids.
internet. You have
Yeah.
to sit in the dark.
Better just get the old game systems back, get the VHSs,
Just keep it analog, man. Keep
Run
it
it all
analog.
off
yeah.
of a exercise machine. So you have to generate your own power.
So you're
The
yeah.
robots are going to be coming to kill you, and you're going to be like, "But I want to watch this YouTube thing. I don't want to sacrifice
Like, get on the
entertainment. I'd rather die.
yeah.
Just come and
Yeah,
kill
you're
me."
right.
So I mean, you're a little bit young. I was like a junior in high school whenever Phantom Menace came out. Do you remember that summer and how when Phantom Menace came out, and then we realized that the actual awesome movie of that summer was The Matrix?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Like that had so much more like of an impact on like everybody like culturally than the Phantom Menace did.
And no one knew about the Matrix back. I mean, the
Yeah.
Matrix wasn't the Matrix until at that point.
Well, you were like 12 then, right?
Yeah, so I saw the Matrix then, and I had to watch it multiple times throughout my childhood to like
Yeah.
fully get it. To me, I like the prequels, but like I said, I was young. I remember Pizza Hut, the one I went to, all had all the fucking cups.
The cups,
and
yeah,
shit.
yeah. I remember
Well,
those
Fifth
cups.
Element came out that summer too, summer '99.
That was 99 too.
No, Fifth Element was a couple years before.
Yeah.
Because I remember going and seeing the Fifth Element. I'm like, I think this is what the new Star Wars is going to be like. Because it was like the whole thing was a whole city. You know, you were all up in the skyscrapers and all that. And there's all the CG and the stuff flying around, and
they
you go
had
into
no excuse
space.
for Phantom Menace to suck that bad after Fifth Element came out 2 years before. They'd raised the bar, and it was like, you can't get away with this bullshit now.
No, not at all.
What we really need is for Anakin Skywalker to be 9 years old and go yippee.
Spend 90 minutes on a pod race.
Yeah.
Is that where Frank Oz came up with that voice for Yoda and Kermit? He's just making
He's
fun
listening
of
to
George
George Lucas. He
You
was
fucking
like,
asshole! I'm gonna make fun of your voice.
yeah.
Hell.
I'm
The
gonna make a
audience isn't
character.
going to care if we take Vader.
Hey ho, George Lucas here. It's not easy running Star Wars. So then Acolyte's coming out next after the Skeleton Crew, which I'm pumped
That's
for
going to be
'cause
the
there's-
worst one. That is going to be the absolute worst one.
So
of
that's the
all
one I
think.
remember seeing. What's the premise on that one?
Women power.
It's a female Sith apprentice, and she's exhausted, and she's pregnant, and
You
she
just
doesn't
can't
want to
do this
anything,
anymore.
and
Yeah.
She doesn't have energy for this argument.
See, I feel like
I don't know. It's Kathleen Kennedy, so it's probably going to be like she's all of a sudden powerful for no reason.
I think if they're gonna do women, cool, but then do was it Treya? She was the master for. She was in Knights of the Old Republic too. She trained Scion and Revan, not Revan, the other Dark Jedi. I mean, I think tap into that, make that shit canon.
yeah.
Old Republic shit.
They
Mara
can
Jade.
Yeah. Mara Jade. Yeah, you could have. Well, I mean, that bridge was burned whenever they were like, oh, by the way, the EU, we don't care about any of that. We're throwing that away. But there was a lot of cool stuff in those. I mean, if you want to do the stuff where, hey, let's do the female awesome Jedi or whatever, fine. Just write her well. Just make it
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
you know, or make
sure.
it make sense, you know. Make her maybe struggle a little bit because nobody likes somebody who never struggles.
Acolyte got delayed.
That's why I
'cause
can't
of the strike.
stand Tom Brady. He never struggled, dude.
He did. It just wasn't documented in Michigan.
He doesn't have a good first album that everybody can listen to.
Exactly.
Acolyte's gonna have a Wookiee Jedi though, so I'm pumped for that.
That's gonna be interesting,
I have a Chewbacca shelf in my house that is expanded to 2 shelves
Oh,
above
wow,
the
yeah.
television. I have a shrine.
They should do more with Kashyyyk because I feel like other than Sith, there was no Kashyyyk.
Well,
scene.
did you know that Endor was supposed to be Kashyyyk?
Yeah.
So I really wish they'd have done the Wookiees because I mean that would make more sense because each of the characters got their own little focus in all the Star Wars movies.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the perfect thing for the third Star Wars movie is now let's have a little bit of character done on Chewbacca.
That's
Go to
Solo.
Chewbacca's hometown or home planet. You know, have to fight the final battle of the Empire on Chewbacca. That would tie him into the series.
Well, I
That's
think
how I'm
they
able
tried-
to enjoy Solo. I just
Yeah.
look
Yeah,
at it as
no.
a Chewie origins.
No, I'd like Solo for that. Yeah. I think maybe they didn't do Kashyyyk because they had that horrible holiday special that they tried to do. I tried to watch that on
Yeah.
YouTube, and
Oh, it's
I
so
finished
bad.
it, but it was awful. Yeah.
We're already cringing enough at the existing Star Wars stuff now.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah.
gonna cringe anymore.
That's why I'm not as like seeing red angry at Disney about everything that they've done like it was so perfect before because there's been a lot of bad Star Wars almost from the very beginning. That holiday special was before Empire.
Yeah.
So that piece of shit is like some of the earliest Star Wars that we have. There's always been bad Star Wars. So we did not be shocked that when there is bad Star Wars, right?
We watched Ahsoka at Adrian's the other night with me and him and his little brother.
Yeah.
We're just bitching about women watching Ahsoka, which is great because there's plenty of ripe material there. All the men in Ahsoka are either a robot slave or a little boy
Or a bad guy.
or they're all dependent on women
Yeah.
somehow for
sure.
for their
Yeah.
existence, and they break that rule all the time in the show. The women talk to each other without mentioning any dudes at all.
The Bechdel test. Yeah. Yeah.
Other than what's his name, Lord Balin. I mean, he's probably got the most dialogue.
I mean, he's the best character in the show, which kind
Yeah.
of defeats the
And
whole
his
purpose
music,
of.
his fucking theme music, is fucking like horror story, like almost like Mike Myers type
Yeah,
shit.
this is all we're getting of him because the dude died.
Yeah, no, this is
Yeah.
it right
So
here.
Ahsoka is going to receive the seal of female empowerment in entertainment, which the SOFEE. We're supposed to all be familiar with this, whatever the fuck this is. But they don't need to make such a big deal out of it. I mean, Ailey Ridley should have. She should have gotten it. Sigourney
Yeah,
Weaver
where's the
should have
one for
got that.
Sarah Connor, right?
They wanted to do it then.
Right, Sarah Connor, she's overdue. Yeah, just put out a Star Wars story that makes sense, good writing, and keep building on the fucking universe. I mean, we don't need to pussy power. We know the power of pussy already. We don't need to fucking.
That's what I thought the Mandalorian was going to be. I thought the Mandalorian was going to be, no, we're just going to do our own little bounty of the week with the overarching story of this little baby Yoda creature. But then as soon as it took off and it was successful and everybody liked it and thought it was cool, they had to come in, they had to try and tie it in with
Grogu toys.
all the Clone Wars stuff, and then they had to try and tie it in, bring in Luke to get Grogu, and then you had to bring this thing, and then we had to tie it into the sequels to try and explain why cloning was working and all that. And I'm like, I just wanted the first season of Mandalorian 3 more times.
I don't need Easter eggs. It's a huge universe. Go to a new place.
So you guys weren't excited about the Luke appearance in season 2 finale?
I mean, I thought it was cool. I got excited when it happened.
Yeah.
But you could kind of see where they were going to go with it. They were going to try and tell some more of the story since they couldn't make any movies because the movies were so bad.
I eat it all up. I got wife, kids. We watch it together. They all go.
Yeah.
It was the same like when episode 1 came out. I had a niece and nephew, and I got them a Jar Jar toy, and they loved it. And they pulled the string, and he made the noise, and I was like, I can see why they're. I love the Ewoks. I was 6 years old, so it was perfect.
Ewoks are my favorite little creatures in Star Wars.
But the 20-year-olds back then were pissed. What the fuck is this? Teddy bears?
Yeah, in like a violent universe with war and shit. I wanted to ask you guys, though, we didn't talk about, but Book of Boba Fett, because I know he's an old character, and I was excited for that series. How did you guys think of how that went?
I thought it was boring and bad.
Yeah.
It was not. I didn't want a kinder, gentler Boba Fett who sits around and does nothing while people bust into his place and like almost kill him, and I wanted cool Boba. Like, so when they introduced Boba Fett, Darth Vader says no disintegrations, so that means that Boba Fett has a reputation.
Yeah,
I wanted to see that Boba Fett, that reputation
from the Mandalorian. The first time he showed up in Mandalorian, he fucked everybody up. Yeah, with his knee rockets.
They put him in the wrong timeline. I feel like they should have did it during.
And well, my other thing is that I know he's a good guy and all that, but the dude that plays the official Boba Fett dude, what's his Tamir Morrison? I just don't think he's that good of an actor. I don't think he's got the charisma or the presence.
Turns everything into a haka dance
to be
anytime
cool.
He acts, it's like,
I think that. And I also think that Boba Fett shouldn't really take off his mask.
Shouldn't?
No.
Yes.
Every once in a while, maybe.
Yeah.
But like the idea they took in the Mandalorian, I thought that Boba Fett should be more of that kind of guy.
Well, yeah, because he was the first image of what a Mandalorian was in the Star Wars universe, and now he's not even like a full-on.
And that became so popular that they had to flesh it out because everybody was like, "Who is that?"
Exactly.
And then like 1981, and they turned it in. I liked it. I got everything I wanted from Book of Boba Fett. There's a new, huge, cool Wookiee with electric spike hands.
He was cool.
Things, and somebody rode a Rancor.
Yeah, we saw some
It was trained by Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
He had an emotional connection with it. It was cute.
And well, the other thing is that Josh always wanted to see a dumb little teenager scooter gang with their Vespas. He's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. They're badasses, like 50s greasers.
I was going to say that shit. Definitely thought Grease when I saw that shit.
But then there was that whole little sequence where Boba Fett takes down the swoop gang, and then they they knock off the train or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Boba Fett takes them down. Like, that was a cool little sequence. I mean, it wasn't all terrible, but I just didn't like what
to find
happens.
out where they're at is Taji Station to get some power converters.
Yeah.
Just like the sequence of it, like maybe when he was in the back to tank, maybe some flashbacks of his time where he was disintegrating and doing shit for some of the crime syndicates would have been cool.
So there was before LucasArts got completely disbanded, whenever Disney bought Lucasfilm, they were working on this game called Star Wars 1313, and it's all bounty hunter shit in the underworld of Coruscant.
There's people from Naughty Dog.
So think Cyberpunk maybe, but Star Wars.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome. And there was really cool concept art. I don't know if there was actual gameplay mock-ups.
Yeah.
Was there?
It's on YouTube.
So
they
that
pulled
that
staff
got
from Uncharted for that.
Yeah, that got canned.
After the Disney acquisition.
I think the thing I would like most of all at this point to move forward, I would like for Disney to start up LucasArts again, make their own game studio, and give all Star Wars and get the best people. And give all Star Wars games to their LucasArts division and let them make some really cool stuff. Back whenever I was a kid, they were the king of the point and click adventures, like Day of the Tentacle, and they had an Indiana Jones game called Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, and everybody always said that was the real fourth Indiana Jones movie. It was really good.
Oh shit, yeah.
I want some of that kind of stuff. I'm tired of just EA having the microtransaction
They're
Battlefront
trash.
and
They're
all that.
The Star Wars games are starting to be better than the shows and the movies at this point, and it's because it's always been about potential and watching it. Everybody wanted to lightsaber fight. Same reason Spider-Man did so well, because you feel like Spider-Man.
Yeah,
The Cal Kestis game, everybody loves it because you can feel what it's like to lightsaber fight,
yeah.
and it fulfills that fantasy. My dream Star Wars game would be like a GTA Star Wars.
For sure.
I still don't have a game where I can walk up to a well, No Man's Sky has it, but it's shitty. Walk up to a ship, get into it, turn it on, take off, and go to another planet. I don't need a whole universe.
No.
I could do with like a GTA future where the Earth has been shattered and you can fly to the different chunks,
Yeah,
or a Star Wars where you the point is to get maybe off world and there's
yeah.
moons or space stations or something where you can get in a vehicle, leave, and go land on a different body.
Yeah,
Celestial
maybe in the
body.
same system or
And
with
get
the
off and
surrounding-
walk around. Yeah.
Yeah, that
I don't
would-
need it to be huge. I don't need a million Starfield planets.
Okay,
I just want a GTA in a planet to planet
for sure.
and fuck people up in space.
Yeah, it's like you can just take your lightsaber out and slash whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
yeah. No more. The morality system is you're bad.
Yeah.
You get to be bad.
And it's like, GTA, you get a couple stars, local authorities are after you. By the time you get to 5 stars, the Empire is coming for, or whoever the
Yeah.
controlling body is.
Yeah, you don't want the
droids.
the local system authorities to get their attention, because then they're chasing you through an asteroid field and you're having to navigate that. Like, you could do some really cool stuff
Exactly.
with that.
Yeah.
Fear will keep the local
Yeah.
systems in line. Do you know what the chessboard was called that they played on the Millennium Falcon?
Shit, I did, but
I had the exact same reaction when he asked me this question the other day.
fuck. I feel like I've read about it or saw it somewhere on some lore video.
It's Dejarik.
That's what
It's
it is.
confusing because Din Djarin.
Yeah.
They use a lot of the same.
Yeah.
You've got the whole
Same-
universe
same
of
words.
vowels.
Yeah.
Use something that doesn't sound the same.
Yeah, right.
There's a bunch of other shit like that sounds the same as each other in Star Wars.
I know if I play it, that I gotta let the Wookiee win though. I do know that.
You
Yeah.
get your arms
Yeah, I've
torn
worked
off.
out my-
Yeah.
Or play as a droid so you can put your arms back on after. and try
Exactly.
again. Put a pauldron on next time.
Well, the Wookiee will rebuild me because Chewbacca is really good at
Yeah,
fixing broken droids.
he put C-3PO back together eventually.
You have to carry him around in a backpack. for a while.
Chewbacca, I can't see.
Our first episode we ever did of this program was it's on Plex only for our friends, and it's us commentating on the Kendi Tartovsky Clone Wars cartoon,
Oh, nice.
like the
yeah.
the 2D one before it went 3D.
Yeah.
So before this turned into just a couch podcast, it was. I mean, we'll probably still do this, but we wanted to record commentary tracks for every Star Wars movie, and so that was our test. Is we put on the Tartovsky whatever
Yeah.
Clone Wars and just kind of talked over it.
Have you seen his other stuff? You see Primal?
I haven't seen. No, I haven't seen Primal.
It's Caveman. There's no words. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun to watch with your 8-year-old niece until he starts ripping people
Yeah, it's
apart
raw.
and their guts get all over his
R-rated.
face.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It's on Max. It's really good.
yeah. It's a caveman teams up with a dinosaur.
He just grunts and destroys shit.
Yeah, it's really cool.
What year was this?
Last year.
Yeah, it's been
shit.
in the past like 4 years because there's been 2 or 3 seasons of it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so
He
it's a
did
series
Samurai
with no
Jack,
dialogue.
and then he did
Yeah.
Powerpuff Girls first. Then he did Samurai Jack, and then he was doing an interview for Samurai Jack, and they said, "What's your dream project?" And he said, "I want to do Star Wars," and they hired him to do Clone Wars, and then they made it 3D and dumb. So I had to rewatch all that before Ahsoka just to be ready, and I
Oh,
was
so
like,
you-
"No, this is
yeah.
still dumb."
Did you get through Rebels too?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
At least it didn't have the moral of the story at the beginning. Every Clone Wars video has
Yeah.
like a Yoda quote at the beginning, like
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
friends are the true journey of whatever the fuck.
They could have done
Wow.
because the Clone Wars was such a long period of time with so many battles, and it's cool, but I wish they could have done live action. With
My rewrite in my head of the prequels is the Clone Wars breaks out at the end of Episode 1. And then Episode 2 is all Clone Wars stuff, and then Episode 3 is the end of the Clone Wars and Vader hunting down the Jedi.
for sure.
So you get more Vader like in the third movie,
Yeah.
and then you have the fight between him and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing I disagree with on the prequels is making Vader Jesus. I don't think that Anakin Skywalker should have been like immaculately conceived. He should have been just another Jedi that fell under the spell of the Emperor and turned against everybody and helped the Emperor bring everything.
So
down.
you don't like like that he was the prophecy?
No,
either?
I don't like the prophecy. I don't like the chosen one
He
thing.
had more
I don't
stem
like any
cells
of
than
those,
everybody else. Anakin
Yeah.
had all the baby
I don't like the
adrenochrome.
midichlorian count. You know.
No, that's so.
They didn't need to
The
get that deep and scientific with it.
immaculate birth. I'm not a fan of, but the prophecy I like because he did ultimately bring balance to the.
There could have been a prophecy, but I would have liked it to be like the thing I don't like about it is the most is because George Lucas cannot direct people. Freaking Mace Windu going, you refer to the prophecy that will bring balance to the Force. You believe it's this boy? Like the delivery of that line is so bad that it soured me on the whole idea of the prophecy.
Show me the prophecy. Show me who prophesied it.
Yeah.
Show me why it's so important. Why the whole council knows what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It must have been a big.
That's
That's got to be
too
like some
anything.
old Republic,
Anakin.
old
Yeah.
Jedi.
And you could have brought that stuff in. It's just a lot of it. Well, again, with the prequels, is the execution. But
Anakin, you're a dirty boy. So you did comedy in DC?
Yes, I started out in DC.
Did you do the improv and all that stuff?
Nah, the biggest spots I did out there was DC Comedy Loft, Arlington Draft House,
Yeah.
or the Draft House in DC.
Yeah.
I think those are
Everybody
the two
thinks the draft house came from here, but we copied it from DC. Had the first
Yeah.
draft house I ever saw.
And
Yeah,
yes,
one in Sterling.
that was
too.
the name of the
yeah,
draft
the
house.
one
Yeah.
it was
I
Sterling
went to the Sterling Draft House in 1997 to see Pulp Fiction for $1 twice a week. Twice a week for all summer.
Yeah.
That was my up until I was 18. It came out when I was 18 years old. My favorite movie was Bill and Ted's. And then once Pulp Fiction came out, I was like, "Oh, I'm sophisticated now, and this is not a movie. This is a film, and I understand storytelling and why this is good."
Mm-hmm.
And I see all your clips in your Pulp Fiction. I keep wondering if you have more than one Pulp Fiction shirt. Cause you have
No,
some
I got like 6 shirts on rotation right now. I lost on the road when I was working. I lost my AirPods and some shirts and clothing. So my rotation is short and my budget is low. So right now I just got a couple shirts. That's one of my favorite shirts, though. I mean,
it's my dream Star Wars project would be a Chewbacca movie directed by Quentin Tarantino, soundtrack by Primal Scream, my favorite band from Scotland. That would be dope.
yeah.
That's never going to happen.
Nah, but
It's better in my imagination.
one can dream, yeah.
It was the same as the Obi-Wan show. We both had already written the Obi-Wan show, what it was supposed to, what would have been perfect, and we started watching. And we were like, "Oh, they fucked it up. They already fucked it up. It already sucks." They ruined
And
everything.
was that your final conclusion to the Obi-Wan show?
I'm fine with it.
No,
But I'm tainted by family life.
It was so bad. I think out of all of them, I think the Obi-Wan show is the worst so
that
far.
might be that's up there for me. It's one of my favorites.
The little Leia stuff, the hiding her under his jacket. It was just so like.
No, there was shit
Again,
like
it was
that,
very
yeah.
much like that. Ryan, you wanted this to be good. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I
you know.
can't be any more angry with Star Wars than I was with Episode 1. We got a bootleg of Episode 1. It was a VHS with Hindu subtitles. My buddy, he worked at UUNet at Reston Town Center, and they just were on those Usenet groups, and he got it mailed. So we had a party. We're like, "Fuck yeah, we got Star Wars. Well, let's have everybody over and watch it." And these girls came over. We were having a party, and we started the movie, and they were talking, and I was about to tell them to shut up, and then I was like, "I think those girls are hot, and also I think this movie might suck." It was a bad moment. I was 21 years old, and I was like, "Oh, I got to choose pussy."
Yeah, you got to move away from the fucking Star Wars. Yeah.
I'm not going to tell them to be quiet during this horrible VHS Hindu ripoff
no,
of.
you gotta shift your focus. No, I like the battle with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan at the end. It's just good to see a good Darth Vader battle.
The shot which they had already done in Rebels though of
with Ahsoka.
where his mask is cut open and you see Hayden Christensen and the voice is morphing between Vader and Hayden Christensen and he's saying, "You didn't kill me, I killed me."
Yeah.
Or I killed Anakin.
Yeah.
That was cool. That one little 30 seconds of that thing was pretty cool. Other than that, like I had no interest in all the rest of it. And like I've said the first season of Andor was good. I'll watch the second season of that. Andor and Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing I pull is like in my head canon is canon from Disney Star Wars. Is like, okay, I can live with those. And the first season of The Mandalorian. But I have this alternate version of Star Wars in my mind where all of it is at least as good as the first 2 movies. And, it's like I've got to get to that alternate universe. I got to be in that part of the Doctor Strange multiverse where they can pull me into the one where all the Star Wars is just as good as Empire Strikes Back. I know it exists. It's out there.
We got to get on Premiere and make an opening crawl for this episode for YouTube.
Yeah. So that's an hour. So yeah, Anthony Knight. What are your like social media handles and all that?
Yeah, a night of comedy.
Uh-huh.
That's A and then night spelled with a K. So basically, my initials are my name, my last name of comedy. A
And
Night of
that's
Comedy.
like Instagram, Twitter, all that.
Yeah, well, Twitter. I don't know. My account. I tried to recover my shit. I don't know what happened to it, but
Yeah.
it's just fucking gone. But so
They're
Instagram is my
racist.
main. Yeah, I'm telling you,
Elon.
they X'd me.
Don't even know how to wear a cowboy hat properly.
No,
Goddamn.
yeah, fucking faggot.
Yes.
So yeah, a night of comedy. I'm doing most of my stuff through Instagram. I got some shit on Facebook too. But
Nice.
I got to get TikTok.
You got a
on.
YouTube channel?
I do. I just post links for submissions. So I'm working on a podcast right now with a friend of mine, but me and her are kind of arguing. So I don't know when the next. I mean, we recorded the first episode, but
An argument with a girl? It's crazy.
I talk about it. We got a lot of crazy shit
Possible.
going on, man.
Yeah.
So I might just have to go solo dolo on the podcast for the time being.
Yeah, this is my comedy thing that I do once a week, and then I try to do another thing at some point.
Yeah.
I had a ton of fun last Sunday, so I think I'm gonna try to start doing Sunday nights.
Sunday night.
sometime.
Oh, that was with the streaming.
No,
Oh.
Sanjak, the
Okay.
mic at Sanjak. You've
Yeah.
been there?
I've been to San Jack a bunch.
The upstairs thing.
Yeah, last week I went to it's up north. But Corey Adam, he's a comic from Minneapolis. He has a good mic, so I'll probably go to that this week. So
Okay.
it's like 30 minutes north, but it's a fun time.
Josh went and did Banana Phone at Creek last
Oh,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
You like
Got
that?
heckled.
Awesome.
Hell yeah, Banana Phone's a good mic.
It was an
Yeah.
honor to be roasted by
Yeah.
3 people with mics on the front row. I didn't know what it was going to be. I thought
Yeah.
it was an internet-based
Uh-huh.
call-in. It said,
Oh, okay.
The flyer said something about calling in.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like, how are they going to technically do that? But whatever.
no, yeah.
No, it was a room full of comedians
Mm-hmm.
fucking me up. They called me Molester Jesus and Fat Lebowski, and I kept. If I hadn't had 5 beers and practiced that same set at Sam Jack like a half hour before, I probably would have fucked up, but I had a great time.
Nice, yeah, that's a fun. Yeah, Creek's got some good shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for this week, and we'll be back with you soon.